Two of the most iconic actors to ever don the tuxedo and sip a shaken not stirred martini, Sean Connery and Roger Moore, weren't just legends of the silver screen. They were Bond. James Bond. But what most fans never knew was what Connery really thought of Moore. For decades, speculation swirled. Were they rivals? Friends? Frenemies? Silent competitors in a secret Cold War of Bonds? At age 89, shortly before his passing, Sean Connery finally broke his silence, and what he said surprised everyone. The original 007 Sean Connery wasn't just the first James Bond, he defined the role. When Dr. No hit theaters in 1962, Connery brought a lethal charm to the character that changed cinematic heroes forever. He was smooth, dangerous, and impossibly cool, but behind the scenes, Connery often felt boxed in by the Bond franchise. He wanted to explore deeper roles, more challenging scripts, and shake off the shadow of the super spy he helped create. Eventually, he stepped away, opening the door for a new Bond. That Bond was Roger Moore. Enter Roger Moore, a very different Bond. When Roger Moore took over in 1973's Live and Let Die, audiences were unsure. He wasn't like Connery. His Bond was witty, stylish, more humorous, some even called him too soft. But over time, Moore won fans over with his charm and longevity, starring in a record 7 Bond films. Critics loved comparing the two. Connery's Bond was a brawler, Moore's was a talker. And rumors began to spread. Was Connery jealous? Did he dislike Moore's interpretation? Was there bad blood? Years of silence and subtle distance. For decades, neither actor said much publicly about the other. While they occasionally attended Bond events and anniversaries, they never appeared particularly close. Connery, known for being fiercely private and opinionated, avoided any direct commentary on Moore's performance. This silence only fueled speculation. Was Connery holding on to resentment? Did he see Moore as a lesser Bond? Or was it all media-driven drama? Then, at 89, Sean Connery finally spoke in a rare interview not long before his death. Connery was asked again about his feelings toward Roger Moore. But this time, he didn't dodge the question. What came next stunned everyone. Connery smiled and said, "Roger was a gentleman. And not just on screen. He was generous, witty, and had more charm in his pinky than most actors have in a lifetime." He went on to admit that while their takes on Bond were different, he admired Moore's ability to keep the franchise alive. In his own unique way. He took Bond in a direction I never could have. And people loved him for it. I respected that, deeply. For fans who had waited decades to hear how the original Bond felt about his successor, it was a moment of unexpected warmth and closure. More than Bond, a quiet friendship. Though they weren't best friends by Hollywood standards, Connery and Moore shared a quiet bond, pun intended, built on mutual respect. Both men endured the pressures of fame, typecasting, and intense public scrutiny. They walked the same path, even if their styles differed. In fact, after Moore passed away in 2017, Connery released a heartfelt statement. "I was very sad to hear of Roger's passing. We had an unusually long relationship by Hollywood standards, full of laughs and shared memories. He made the role his own, and he did it with grace." Those weren't the words of a jealous rival. They were the words of a man who understood just how rare Moore's talent was. The legacy they shared, Connery and Moore, will forever be tied to Bond. But their impact reached far beyond that one role. Connery's powerful performances in The Untouchables, The Hunt for Red October, and Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade proved he was more than a spy. Moore, on the other hand, used his fame to champion causes he cared about deeply, especially his work with UNICEF, which earned him a knighthood. They were two very different men, one fiery and intense, the other smooth and playful. Yet together, they helped shape a cinematic legacy that continues to inspire actors, filmmakers, and fans worldwide. The final word. When Sean Connery finally broke his silence at 89, it wasn't to criticize or boast, it was to honor. In a world where egos often collide and headlines pit legends against each other, Connery's words were a reminder that mutual respect can outlast rivalry. He didn't just acknowledge Moore, he celebrated him. So while fans will always debate who was the better Bond, the truth is, both men were legends, each in their own right. And thanks to Connery's long-awaited words, we now know there was never a feud, just two gentlemen, carrying the same torch, with very different flames.